It's not a, this is a class for card making, but it's not a card along. This isn't a cut here, cut there, move there, glue here. I was just explaining to Mr. Producer about quilling and how if I quilled, I would want to throw something across the room, and that's how I would be if I were doing that kind of class. So anyway, that's not what we do, but welcome if you've never been here. It's good. Hello, Sharon and Judy and Rachel and Leslie. You're in your red chair. I'm on my stool of knowledge. The stool that in which I perch my seat of knowledge. Yes. What mischief? Okay, girls in the back row, I see you. You've got a lot of paper. You could make airplanes. Oh my gosh. That was one of the most favorite things that I ever taught my students that I tutored was how to make paper airplanes, and we would have airplane races. Shh. Don't tell. I'd probably get fired. Haven't worked there in 2 years, but probably get fired retroactively. It was great fun. We found some trail mix. I ate dinner. Paper airplanes are fun. They are a great way to introduce youngsters to folding paper and straight, not seams, but straight folds. Crisp folds. It's a great thing. I hope you do that this summer. Maybe we should do that next time our family gets together. I don't think we've ever had a airplane contest since my kids were little, so waiting for this to dry. I think, you know what? I don't want to sit around here very long talking. I want to get to it because I have a lot to share. I know. But I don't think cardstock is the best necessarily, unless you have kind of thin cardstock to make airplanes, because it's just too bulky, especially when you have the bunched up parts. In one class, you had to make paper airplanes for a production factory. We did that with peanut butter and jelly in our school. It was not as easy as we thought. It was not as, with peanut butter and jelly sandwich factory, it was surprisingly detailed. It just seems like whack, whack, black, black, but it wasn't. It was a surprisingly detailed thing to do. So I think maybe that's what paper airplane production was like too. I think that's neat. Yeah, and the guy before you has got to do what they're supposed to do, or you're just going to be in the hangar. You're never going to get out in the open, and you're never going to eat a good sandwich. So, hello, Patty Beck. All right, well, I think I'll warm up the spoon phones, and we'll get on this so we can go our merry ways and make some paper airplanes. Diagonals tonight, ladies. Diagonals and gentlemen. We'll be right back. Thank you for being here. It's always a pleasure to see you. Be right back. Hi, I'm Mary Gunn. Welcome to Fun University. Hello, Mary Gunn Fun, founder and head professor at Fun University, and we are here with you. Woo! If you've never been here, I don't know what you're thinking. If you have been here, you were prepared for that. This is Fun University Cards Plus Lab. Cards Plus Lab is where I make cards and based on an art principle. This month, June 2021, this is the second week, we are talking about line, which seems like it should just be line. What? Is that like just drawing? No, it's a whole lot more than just drawing. You can do a whole lot of things and design your cards so that things will look, you can tell your viewer where to look, and you can tell your viewer things to feel. How about them apples? And we are using fruit, by the way, as our subject matter this month. So, and you could do this obviously with any anything. It doesn't have to be fruit. It could be flowers. It could be airplanes. It could be critters. It could be, did I say flowers? Flags or fish or whatever you, cats. Oh, I said critters. But anyway, it could be anything you want. Last Thursday, we talked, if you remember, we talked about the most basic line concept, which is one straight line. And that one straight line is either horizontal or vertical. Let's go down to paper and get busy, because I got all sorts of stuff up here. Okay, one line that is very vertical, and we used pears. This would be a vertical line of pears. And what do you have there? You have something that feels like it's just tall, and it's going to have some height involved. Then if you flip it around and you have it horizontally, you are going to feel more of a grounding and more of a stable feel. Broader feel, a little more spread out. This spreads up, this one spreads out. I did make some cards with these. I will show them to you. These are the ones that we made last week, and I don't, let's see. So there's the vertical I made into a card. It kind of looks like a, I think it looks like some kind of album. I can't remember, like, was there a Beatles album or something like this? But there's those two cards made up. Here are the two cards that are horizontal. Same kind of deal. That was, I took the original line of pears, either tall or wide, and that's how they ended up. Then we also did a little meeting in the middle, or over there on the edge of a vertical and horizontal. And you can see the show if you want more information, but this, remember, this was the one I messed up, and I think it turned out real pretty. It's just with silver paint. I think that one turned out real pretty, and I think that one's very effective too. And then we also made one like this, with some, just using the bars were 4 lines. And I think that one turned out nicely. And then we talked about that bad boy that's in town. Yeah, the Slimline. And why all of a sudden we go, whoa, what happened? What? Well, yeah. We got all this space and we don't know what to do with it. So we talked about that a little bit. Another thing that we will be talking more about tonight is what happens when you have more diagonal lines, because we're talking diagonals tonight. And when you get diagonal, you go from rigid, formal feel to a little bit more relaxed, rumble tumble, and much more playful. If you think about a play yard, a park, or your backyard if you have a swing set, the slipper slide is a fun thing, right? And the reason it's fun is because it's a diagonal line. You get, jumping from the top of the slippery slide is not as much fun, one might find out, that as sliding down, unless it's burning hot, and then it's terrible. But the straight up and down line is not, jumping from the top is not as fun as when you go sliding down. But we're going to talk about more about that here in just a minute. Those were last week. I just wanted you to see them. Here is our rumble tumbles falling down. Very informal, playful pears. Let's look at the diagonal in comparison to the feeling you get, separate them, with the strength and the height, the groundiness, the solidness, that, or the playfulness of rumble tumble falling down diagonal line. You can already see it, can't you? Now that we've isolated it and spoken about it a little bit, it's all starting to already make sense to you. I'm pretty darn sure, because you're a smart group of girls. Okay, so if we have that little, we can also have the rumble tumble, scattery battery, informal feeling of the diagonal pairs. We've got diagonal line here. We've got diagonal clusters. And then I put it on an XY grid or a horizontal vertical grid, and that just gives it looks like tile. The solidification, that sounds like a good one, Stephen. I think that I'll go with that, sure. that's going to give it a, even though this is nice and rumbly tumbly, it gives it a little more structure, even though you can't see the lines. So, yep, you're feeling the diagonal girlness of it all, Sharon, is because it's playful. It's informal, and I think it's just delightful. Let's look at a few more little things here because I love to do these kind of things. Here we have lone apple. Here we have lone apple with some vertical lines. Here we have lone apple with some horizontal lines. Here we have lone apple with some vertical and horizontal lines. All still kind of stiff. It's kind of like the apple's being held in place by this dynamic force of line. And then here we have lone apple on a diagonal. And it's just like, whoa, where's it going? It's having some fun now. It's just a more fun feel. Much more informal. But you know, because of those lines, where you're supposed to be going there. You're not playful. Oh, Sharon, check into reality there. You're so darn playful. You're hilarious. So anyway, we've got a little bit of support feeling there, but honestly, I look at this and I go, I'm not sure if that apple's going to be there tomorrow. It may just fall on down, but it won't go anti-gravity, I don't think, but might go with the gravity and just go on down. This one is definitely going to be held in place, as is this one. This one may go up or down on its own, but still, it just kind of feels stretched out. Have you ever seen those, which one's bigger? It's lines that throw you off. The perspective, they'll have something like a little figure here and then a figure here, and they're the same size, but the lines have opened up, and that's a very fun way to explore some lines and the power that you can see. Maybe I can find some and put them on our group. Some samples of that. I'll try to remember that. Anyway, those are some things, just illustrations. If you want to deal out some cards, we could, these would all be very cute cards. I did a couple cherry things here too. I didn't do a vertical one, but I did do a vertical with one guy hanging out being ornery. So these guys are very, if you just saw those, you think that's very formal cherry arrangement. And then you see this guy and you're going, oh, we got a trouble causer, but I kind of like him. So it's a computer ad. That's what it was. A 80s computer ad made me think of that. And then here we have the horizontal cherries. Very formal, very Vegas kind of, right? Don't they do that with slot machines? But it's very formal, very stiff, very rigid. Then you put one out of place with a little bit of a slant, and you've got much more play. You know who the character is, because he's got his little diagonal there and he's out of place, and that makes it also very, very fun. All righty, we've got another one here, another example here. This one has a trick to it. This is a mini slimline, and I made the plaid paper, and I also, this is a fun, I thought this was a cool little deal. I had some red tissue paper from a lovely gift that I got from some friends yesterday. Ooh, you can see the tape. So much for my craftsmanship. And I just stamped the apples on the red tissue paper. I put a little red cellophane tape on the background there, and to hold them together, and then undid some twine and put it right there, and that's where you're seeing the tape. And we can put it right here on the plaids. Now this plaid is very stiff because it's vertical and horizontal. It also has this really bold line in there that's definitely an attention grabber. You can put them a little higher. You can put them a little lower. You can put them in the middle. And it's very fun when you do this. And we aren't doing curved lines tonight per se, but we are going to be doing diagonal lines. And I went ahead and made a diagonal line in the center, and is that the top? Yep. And made it a little bit curved. So you can put these guys right in the slot there, and you'll have a much more playful feel than when the jaws of formality close again. See how much stiffer that looks? Even though these guys are humbly, bumbly, tumbly, rumbly, And like we mentioned last week, that clusters almost always have some kind of diagonal line in them. Otherwise, they're just very stiff. You could put these guys down here and just put a curvy sentiment in there too. Now let's look what happens if we have more some more diagonal lines on something. Same, I didn't change the pattern at all on it. I think I would want something. Well, you know what we can do? We can just slice right along one of these guys because I have lines all built in. So let's just cut along one of these lines. I was being careful. Might have to pull it up a little. Oh, we just got a little bit. We can take off a little bit. Make them a little shorter. And we have the same kind of feel. It's much more relaxed. You can put that guy down at the bottom. You can put it in the middle. That's pretty. I don't know where you're going to put a sentiment. But the black and white is pretty darn bold. I think I'd want to maybe calm it down a little bit with some, maybe a little bit of gray on top of it. I don't know. But it is very bold. It may be too bold for tissue paper because the tissue paper is so fine. It's just a learning thing. But see the difference. We'll concentrate on the difference there. So we've got a curved diagonal line. We've got a straight diagonal line. A curved diagonal line would look really weird in this one. I tend to want to cut with the angles. So I like that though. I think I need something a little more firm than tissue paper. But I love these too. So I'm going to have to use those somewhere else. And these somewhere else. And I will have that for you next week. Now, here's the part that I thought Sue would like, and I don't see her here. Hi, Catherine. I see you sneaking in here. Random stamping. Random stamping is one of those things where you can make your own beautiful paper. Looky here, this is falling off. No good, no good, no good. Random stamping is something when you can make your own designs and your own paper. I love it. It's one of my favorite, absolute favorite go-to things. I think it's magical to make it all come together. This is some paper that I stamped and made into what's called random stamping paper. Or if you like to have it more planned out, you can call it planned stamping, and that's okay too. But if you learn about diagonal lines, oh, you're going to understand how to do random stamping. It's a bonus round right here. Because look what happens. It's called a triangle, correct? The visual triangle. So we have a visual triangle here with diagonal lines. We have another one here with diagonal lines. Generally, when you do a random stamping activity like this, it's going to be casual feeling. You're not going to have the formality of one of these guys. It's going to be more just random, as the kids used to say, and where you're going to see something like this. Now, on the 4th week, I'm going to show you a card set that has both random stamping and vertical and horizontal stamping. And it's pretty cool too. I gotta admit it, but it's a whole nother set of parameters, and we're going to get to it. But this one, let me tell you how understanding these lines can help you. This is, I really haven't played with this, but I thought, gosh, this could work. By golly, I've got two card sizes here. I have a A2, which is a 5.5 by 4.25. I have a piece of vellum that fits that. And then I have a 5 by 7 piece of cardstock, which is this size, a little bigger. And I love 5 by 7s. I do love them. Okay. All right. And a piece of vellum that goes over. Oh, I'm okay. I didn't bruise, honestly. And then I have some big pieces, some medium pieces, and some wee little baby bear pieces. On your random stamp, and this is your emergency kit so you can practice without stamping. How about that? Go ahead and start with your first 3 big pieces. Generally they're gonna go off the edge. So you can go ahead and just put them so they have a nice, yep, we got some vertical lines going there. And then we will start adding some of the smaller pieces. This is assuming you haven't had a lot of experience with this, and you're just getting started, and you're going to grab the next size stamp a little bit smaller. We started with the watermelon here, went to the pineapple, which is actually bigger. Maybe I made these a long time ago, but pineapple would have been probably centimeter per centimeter bigger. And then we'll fill in with a little bit. See, we've got our diagonals going there, rumbly tumbly. You can tuck that, you can mask. And you can start playing with them until you get a design that you feel comfortable with. You can also, do you notice the colors too? We've got some pretty bright colors for the big ones. We've got medium colors for the mediums. And then we've got a more of a saturated color for some of the smaller ones. That sometimes works, sometimes it doesn't work, but it's another way to keep learning through it. Kind of like these hidden, because they're not precise. I'm not going to make circles, you know what I mean. And then you can use it, you can just pull this guy off. See how it works. Let's just see how this works with some stamps, shall we? Or maybe it's better to pull this guy out than off. So we're going to start with a big one. Let's find a stamp that's a big one. Back to my fruit set. If I start with Mr. Pear again, this is a different, oh wait, there's another stamp set here. We haven't used all of this one yet. This is the one with the apple and the pear. Here we've got big old, let's try this one. We've got big eggplant, that's cool. We've got round tomato. I have not used these. Which side's which? Okay, I don't think my purple's very juicy either. Then we've got round tomato. Wrong side of the block. And then we have radish? Onion? Radish or onion? I don't know. I'll show you what it is. What do you think that is? I don't know. I just don't know. Now this, this is kind of, let's try these on, I'm going to change my mind real fast here. We're going to do this on a 5x7. These are just too big for that. Okay, let's try the same kind of thing. We're going to, now we know what we have. We have an eggplant for the red ones. We have tomatoes for the yellow ones. Look for our diagonals. And then we've got blue for the unknown. These guys are going to be stretched out because we've got a nice big area. When you do have a nice big area like this, you don't want somebody that's all crowded and everybody else is like feeling real comfy. These guys can go off the edge too. So, but we need to have somebody over here. We've got a couple over there. We don't want to play favorites. Get him pretty close. This is fun to be able to play around with this and not have to worry about stamping first. Okay. Let us See if I can pull this out. You know what would be smart is to have your little self-closing tweezers on this guy. Look at there. Oh my gosh, that's so smart. As, as I heard artists say today, oh, I felt brilliant. I can't remember what she did that was brilliant, but it was. It was. Okay, whoopsie. You could put a little temporary adhesive on this too, if you had it. Yeah, we'll put those guys over there. We'll put this right here. You think it's a beet or a turnip? Yeah, turnip? Those are kind of purpley, aren't they? Kind of purpley, purpley. Okay, let's see if we can get I don't know if I can get this to work, but I don't think I have a juicy pad. Maybe it's better than I thought. New stamp, we're going to go ahead and stamp off. Oh yeah, fine. Oh, you know what we can do? Let's do something that I did today that was really fun. You know, crinkle inkle. That's when you crinkle up some paper and you put it in the ink pad and then you stamp on the paper. Well, I did reverse crinkle inkle today. And that's what I think I want to do tonight. So we're going to take reverse crinkle inkle. We're going to take a crumpled up piece of paper and get some of the ink off. G-I. I'm sure do I have some kind of soft stuff? I do. Come here, darling. We need a little cush. We need our life to be a little more cush than it's been. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put this guy here. We can put it here. If you don't use the pattern, I always say try to start in the middle. A nice magenta color. Well, on cards, they can be another color. See the texture in that thing? That's that reverse crinkle inkle. That's going to take some of the demandingness off of him too. You can always make some of them go upside down too if you want to have it a little more topsy-turvy. Ooh! Yeah, I get so excited. Reverse crinkle inkle. Will it ever make it to the wheel? Let's see, this guy's down here, so we're going to go ahead and just follow our red square, or red squiggles. Give it a minute. There we go. Oh, man, it looks like it's marbleized eggplant. That's kind of groovy. Okay, so we'll put this. That one worked out okay. It had more juice in it than I thought. This one doesn't. Does this have a filler? It does not. Fiddlesticks. But, let's see. We can maybe fill it with another one. From another set. Why not? At least partially. Well, no. Okay. Well, fiddle faddle. It does have a cute little solid one. I want this one. So we'll figure it out. It'll be okay. Now these are going to be the yellow ones, because this is the medium size. I've got him off the edge. Uh-oh, don't need this guy under here now. And then we're going to put this guy off the edge also. See, I got a little snot on there because it was too much ooch and gooch. You know, I think we could almost use another one of those, but we'll start with that. Oh, and then we need this again for the unknown vegetable. Let me get something underneath. Just start to fill it in. I am going to have some white space in this guy. So there's that one, Let's twist him around again. For this one, we'll just have him coming off the edge right there. Oh, where was this guy? I think he was down here. I want to get a better diagonal going on here. So I'm going to push him over. We'll probably just not have that guy. Okay, so we've got our little diagonals. But now we can start looking at it and go, the smaller one can fill, he's a filler. But then we can go for the number 4 for this big a canvas. We can go number 4 for the real fill. And I didn't add that on there at all. There we go. There we go. You know, it might be kind of cool not to have those things too colored in. I don't know. Or to play with the colors a little bit, it might be kind of fun. Okay, so let's find something else that's a little bit smaller here. Still, we've got this little bug. How about a little bug? I haven't used him yet either, and he's small, so you want to keep going, graduating down. Then we just find the spaces that are the biggest. And we don't really need the guidelines on this because we can see where the bulb places are, just like on the Christmas tree. Where are there no lights? And then you just put in a bug. So it's just a barely little tiny bug, but we want to have the bugs all over. We don't want one area that doesn't have a bug. And that's a great way to get them off the page too. To make them very, very, that's actually going to be kind of cool. Very, very casual. Okay. So I got an idea for this guy. I do. I think. I wish I may, wish I might. Fruit flies, ooh. No color on the leaves. That's a good idea. Oh, it just stamped that way. Catherine, it just stamped that way. Okay, I'm gonna make a mask, except a reverse mask. I'm gonna fill it. We're gonna color in. We're gonna crinkle inkle this tomato a little bit, but not reverse crinkle inkle, but actually crinkle inkle. And we'll leave the leaves open just like the eggplant. This is tedious, I'm sorry. But you know, when an idea is hatched, you gotta run with it sometimes. And Fun University, I usually do these classes from Rabbit Trail Hall, Bunny Trail Hall, when we're feeling casual and informal and diagonal. So I totally allow myself to go down bunny trails. And if you want somebody that doesn't do that, well, there's lots of them. But if you like a good bunny trail chase every once in a while, you may enjoy these. You want really sharp scissors to do this with a sharp little point, not a kitchen shears or anything like that, or fabric shears. Those would be too big. You got to get into the detail stuff. And if you're good with a craft knife, this is a great time to use it too. Because craft knives can do jobs that scissors just have more trouble with. Pull that tooth. There we go. All right. Reverse crinkle inkle. We've done. Now we're going to do some crinkle inkle. Let me find another piece of paper. And I used this afternoon. We're going to use some more of this here in a little bit. I don't want this on my other. Okay, here we go. Especially since we've got that booger in there. Groovy. Weird. Kind of groovy. Kind of weird. kind of marbly. This is going to be one of those cards I'm going to have to sit on and think about. But I think I can rectify it. I think I can make it into something kind of groovy and exciting. Even though I think I'm going to make it monochromatic. One of the reasons it tends, I think it will work monochromatic is this is a bloody crazy color. And so to get anything that's going to look good with it is going to be difficult. So monochromatic may just be a wonderful answer. Now that I've got more ink on this, I can come back and work on it some more. You know, if you had a little brush or something too, you could put that in. Yeah, yeah. Now what else would you want to do? This one you probably want to do some brushing instead of crinkle inkle. I will spare you that, but I anticipate that I will do the same kind of thing, another mask like this, and then brush in some of this crazy color that I'm not sure what to call it. Eggplant now. And then the little buggies will maybe just, maybe we might add some gray, might even add some lines around this. Just, I don't know. I might pencil in some things and see what we think. That's a very strange thing, but it sure worked as far as the random stamping went. It worked like a charm. So that's very groovy, and that was really the point. Another, you know what I really want to, I just keep wanting to do things. I'm going to find a medium-sized nib. Yep. And we'll go ahead and push some things off to the side recklessly. Square this guy up. And I want to frame it with a pen. But I'm not going to go over, I'm going to stop before I get to the stamps. Oops, that one had a little curl. Maybe two. Kind of look ahead to see when you're going to stop. Square it up. This is definitely weird. I might add, you know, I might bring in some kind of silvery gray green too. I think that might work with that weird purpley stuff. Does anybody else feel like this purpley stuff's kind of weird? It's not gonna play real nicely with a lot of colors, I don't think. But I might do a little swatching off camera tomorrow. And maybe a lagoon. You know, that might be strange enough that it might work. Lagoon and saffron, a blue green and a yellow yellow, kind of an old vintagey yellow. We're going to use that here in just a little bit too. Might get kind of I don't know. I'm in the vintage mood. I tell you, I am just in a vintage mood. I want all my colors to be vintage. You know, that might be really cool with some golden around it. Maybe golden, whatever these mystery vegetables are. Or golden bugs. This is a 3.5, 3. Size nib, 0.3. It's a standard size for many, I should put something right down there. For many journaling pens. All right, so I kind of like that. It feels a little more cohesive right now. It feels tamed in a little bit, which I kind of needed because I was feeling a little, you know, instead of, let's just go ahead and try something real fast. And then if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And it's just paper. And we've just had a few moments. I am going to, I'm just going to sponge in a blush of color. Oops, not, wrong way. Wrong sequence. A blush of color. Just kind of groovy. Might not, but it might. You just never know. Oh, that's all right. It's all right. I wonder what goes with these guys. Hello, mister. So we've got a nice golden yellow, or kind of an orangey yellow there. Kind of let's see if we look at it, which one's it gonna, it's gonna be a yellow orange. So, and then we've got this weird red violet. So that's kind of the red violet that we've got. So we've got, if we do a triad, then I was right, blue green. All right, well, dang, girl, you did it. You did it. You knew your colors. Okay, so blue green, blue green, blue green. It's a weird combination. It's a triad, and there's sometimes a little bit odd. I don't know. This is the one I'm going to use. I'm just not sure how. Might just bring in some hints of shading here. I think if we added some gray around the edges too, and just a little more interest, I think. See, can you see that blue? It's just softening it a little bit. Oh my goodness, there's Jamie in the back row. Paintbrush. Ooh. That sounds daring right now. I'm not sure my ink could hold that. This does look kind of vintagey though. Reminds me of something piece of material my grandmother would have. I'll just color over those bugs. That'll make it easier. And then got a hard spot. That's okay. We're gonna live with it. Weird. Weird, but not terribly upsetting. It's playful, but then it feels casual, but then we've got this frame around there, and that really pulls it in and makes it have a little rigidity. Okay, I think I should move on, but I'm having a little fun right now. Sometimes, though, when you're having this kind of fun, all of a sudden it will just start going really bad. So that is something. We did reverse crinkle inkle, we did crinkle inkle, and then I don't know what we call that. But I'm going to work on this one. And I did show you. Looks like a pattern on an apron. Exactly, Mary. It does, doesn't it? And, you know, I've been in this mood. This looks like patterns from aprons too. Do they not? These are the ones that I worked on study hall. I ended up not loving these, so I cut it up. But I worked on these on study hall, and then I made them into recipe cards for a card. And they felt very vintagey and very, and I think I can get there on this too. You know, even a big brush going over that might do the trick. But okay, so I'll keep working on that. Stay tuned, come back. And then, but you're going to end up with something with a random pattern. And the whole idea was to help you understand how to make a pattern that's random and tumbly and rumbly. And this one actually is rumbly and tumbly, and then we have some horizontal things going on at the same time, which gives it a little bit of stability, and it's kind of groovy. So same kind of deal with, this one is craft paper with black ink and watercolor pencils. So anyway, if you do have trouble with random stamping, make yourself a little a little kit. And if you really want to be realistic, go ahead and cut out the stamps, stamp them and cut out the stamps and then arrange them. And then you can go with that too. But that is just another way to try to make things a little easier for you when you're making things. Even though I made it really hard with this pattern, but it does look like an old vintage thing. Yep, I kind of like it. Okay, I'll keep working on it. I'm excited by it. I like a little bit of a challenge. Now, last thing we're going to, next. I want to talk about, just briefly, you can also use diagonals in cuts on a card. So we've done diagonals in lines on like a plaid. We've done diagonals as one little playful element in an otherwise very formal, rigid status. We've done diagonals in random stamping, and now we're going to talk about how you can use random or diagonal lines in your card cutting, such as this one. And it just makes a little more interest. This one actually just has a piece. Look how this piece is. It's 4 1/4 by 4 with 4 1/4 more, so it's 8 1/2. Just cut at a random angle there, and then it's placed on top of a 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 base. So it doesn't really have anywhere to write except right here, but you could also put a picture here. You could put, or it can just be something interesting, you know. You can put a little sentiment right in here. You can wrap this up and tie it. You can put a sentiment on the outside. All those little tricks. You could put a card back on this and then you'd have a really big card, but or a nice place to write. But anyway, you can use up papers from an old stamp set that all works together, and then it's pretty much of a no-brainer. So there's one. Here's another one that I added a little bit of a diagonal cut just to make it a little more interesting. This was, oh my gosh, this was an extra card I came up with after Biddy Penny was on last time. She is going to be on tomorrow night too, using these colors, and I just made a funny little cut in it to make it have a little more interest, and then it also folded down. So this was a 12" by 4 1/2, 4 1/4. This is a 12, I believe 12". It's been a long time. Yep, 12 by 4 1/4, but if you wanted to get 3 out of a 12 by 12, you could do it 12 by 4. And just folded on the 4s. And then the front one I just cut at an angle just to make it a little more fun. This guy sticks out over the side. And lots of horizontal lines there. And I'd had enough with horizontal lines, so I added some vertical lines too. Biddy Penny, you're here. Yay! That's all right. Were you getting ready for tomorrow? Color the bugs. Yes, Patty, I think I will color the bugs, but I just think I've had enough tonight. Avocado green would have been interesting too, Sharon. I think you're right. Mustardy yellow. That's a good way to describe that. You tried to ink smoosh with red inks this weekend in your paint, which looked like a crime scene, Rachel. That can happen. It's really good if you want it to look like that. But yes, that would be a kind of an interesting thing to make a sentiment for. But yes, there's another one with just a diagonal line just to make it more interesting. This is one also just like the other guy, except he's on a top folding 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And so that makes him interesting. I don't even know what I'd put in there, obviously. You could put something, you could pull something up. You could make this a pocket, and you can pull something up. I wonder what this would look like with this. I kind of like those colors. They look vintagey. I'm on a binge, I tell ya. I'm excited to have you tomorrow, too, Biddy Penny. That'll be good. So anyway, that's kind of, these are just red tissue paper, and I think they're just great fun. Okay, that's another one. Here's another one with some diagonal lines, and this was a piece that just was cut. It was a smaller piece. So the design piece was 4, I assume by 4. Yep, 4 by 4, and then cut down the middle from one corner to the other, so it ended up being a diagonal split apart, and then I just ended up with a circle in the middle, kind of a groovy thing to do with the limes. Yeah. Yep, yep, yep. And those were cards, and then this is a little chubby, which is a 4x8. You take an 8x8 piece of cardstock, fold it in half, and you have a little chubby, which is a Fun University card size, which I love. I like them better than a slimline. They've got a little more meat because they've eaten a few more donuts than a slimline, and they've gotten a little bigger. But this was just doing with masking and inking, and then inking again in either the same tone or a little slightly different tone. And then guess what? I did this part, and then I got tired of it, and so I just found some black paper and just put it down there, because that's what I do when I get tired of something. And then just put a little string around there. It looks like I put this under here, but I didn't. There is a hole, but I just slid it under there and glued it all together. So that one works real well. And then this is another one that's very organized as far as being diagonal and with a little change of color. Same stamp, randomly but very closely put together, and then covered up and ink blended with, I never finished that, it's just this, but with ink blended for the coloring, which I think is fun. Now, one more thing before we go. There is a little thing called Retiform, is what I think they say. And I've had a lot of fun with these. Are some watercolor pencils things that I did with. I'm just going to show them to you real fast. They're a fun thing to just take with you in color. These are very bright, and they're not very perfect looking, and so they actually have more texture than like a perfect thing. So, and then we did these a long time ago. This one we did a long time ago in Fun University, and it's funny, I'm seeing something similar to it right now, but it's using a embossing pen and then gold embossing on top of it, and then I painted inside. But you could do marker, you could do chalk, you could do ink blending, you can do whatever you want. But it is very elegant thing to do. Again, it wasn't done, but I've got something tonight that's going to be what? Oh yeah, of course it is. It's going to be vintage looking. This is not it, but this is another one with some white embossing, and this one, okay, so here's the deal. If you're doing this kind of deal and you give it all these little tiny things, it's going to be harder to do. So if you want to do it fast, probably not your best bet. But like, you can overstamp the whole thing, and so you have a whole line. There's nothing that you have to do each individual cell, but you can too. You can do each individual cell if you want. And so you can, and there, if you want to have some fun with some different techniques, you can do one of these cards and just do different techniques in each one of the cells. And then it's another way to practice some technique. So there's that. So tonight I'm going to start. This was a half of 8.5 by 11. And so this is 4 1/4. I know that I'm going to want to cut it down, so I'm just going to go ahead and keep it as is. And I'm going to pull out, I'm going to try a Sharpie. I tried something else earlier and I smudged a little bit. Basically, if we think about this card being a top half of a card and a bottom half of a card, I'm just going to do it all at once. It's a little bit easier. I wouldn't suggest doing the whole sheet, but half a sheet, piece of cake, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So what I like to think of is basically each half as a wonky tic-tac-toe board. Works for me, maybe with an extra grid, an extra horizontal. So if we start off, and got something there, and we just start off, and we start off with our vertical line, but it's going to be diagonal. You can make it vertical, real straight. Guess what you have to do? You have to work with straight stuff in. It's just another way. Then it's going to look more like a grid. Okay, so we're going to work in this top half first. So we'll do our wonky tic-tac-toe board. And there it is. And that is going to be just great, but we're going to go ahead and do another one going the just a little the other diagonal, top to high to low. And we're going to come back down here and go high to low, but go right to left, left to right, high to low. It's starting to sound like I'm yodeling. And then we're going to do one more high to low, right to left. And that is our little form that we're going to do tonight. Now, you know, what this reminds me of is a crazy quilt. And so once again, I pulled in my vintageness going on here. I don't want to spend a lot of time worrying about Post-it notes and all that. So what I ended up doing is pulling out some scratch paper, just some copy paper, and cutting it into some pretty good sized strips. You need 4 at a time unless they start getting too saturated. So just some four of the good sized strips. We're just going to line it up along the line, one underneath, like so. I got some strawberries here. And we're going to random stamp, but I'm not going to be as careful because I'm just mostly filling it in. So I'm going to start in the middle. Hold down the strips while I'm working near that edge. I think you're going to like the way this ends up looking. Okay, there's our first little square. See how cute? Okay, and then we're going to think in threes, the visual triangle, as we often do. So we're going to go from here down to this guy, I think. We'll just try this little guy. We'll see how that goes. I ended up with four different patterns, and I think it worked out pretty well. I'll speed it up just a little bit so you can see how we do it, and then I will show you the finished one because I know you do have some other things to do, I'm sure. Then we'll come down to this side, do this guy. This way you can make 2 full cards at once, or you can cut it into other pieces. Just make sure you're on the line. Hold somebody down straight so they're not squawking. I am so glad I chose fruit this month. I've totally enjoyed it. And then so we're going zig, 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 and we'll do one right here. Should we do one in the middle? Sure, why not? It won't matter. It'll be fine. Okay. I'll just do this one more, and I forgot the top one, didn't I? That is a panic. I did have that panic earlier today, and I thought, oh no! I didn't stamp on... I didn't realize I had the white there, the cover. And I stamped on, oh no, I stamped on the other section. I didn't. All was well. There we go. And then you just keep going on. After you get all the fields all in, which I'm going to show you what it looks like, the way I did it. After you get all the little fields in, and I used the orange, yellow again, yellow, orange, with a simple stencil, and I just did ink blended with some distress oxides for the blue, and did a little bit of green. Came back in and filled in a little bit of green with with that, with little strawberries. Then I did do a little edging with just the black blender, and I made this out of the black blender too. To make it soft. I didn't want a stark black thing going on there, so I just made it soft. But you could use a smaller piece of it. I think it'd be fine. And then just did a thank you, because thank yous to me are just a go-to kind of thing. Then, when I was all done with it, I took a light tan, somewhere, a light tan, and brushed over it. And so it looks older and aged. If you wanted to, and you were so inclined, you could come back with all of these guys and add a little edging around each one of those with a little brown to make them look a little, each one a little more edged and a little older, kind of, yeah. So there's all of that, but it does remind me of a crazy quilt. And so one thing that you can do with a crazy quilt that they used to do is practice their embroidery stitching. So this is what I did with my second one. I had a top piece and a bottom piece. And after I sprayed my Avery Elle shimmer spray, oh baby, I practiced by taking a marker, a journaling pen, and did some little faux stitches. So we had a little straight stitch, we had a little feather stitch, we had a zigzag. These are French knots. Yeah, right. All they are little circles with some ink, the pen flipped out like that. So anyway, that I think they're very fun to do, and they do look very vintage, and that's my mood. So that's what I have for you tonight, and it's already been an hour, so I hate to hold you any more than that, but I won't start anything else. You know what I'll do? I'll just stay on and finish this. If you want to stay, you're welcome to stay. If you don't want to, I understand. But that's the gist of what we're going to do tonight. I just want you to understand one more aspect of using line in art and card making is that diagonals are very playful. They give you a sense of informality that you cannot get with straight vertical and horizontal lines. It just isn't going to happen. So that's the long and the short of it. That's what I want you to get out of it. So I really did take a long way to get you to that point, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that opened up some vistas of information for you. I will go ahead and do this. Kiss our brains and say yay for us. We did something and we worked hard and tried to get better at our craft, and that is worth a kiss on the nog. So I do thank you. I'm going to blow you a kiss as well because I really do appreciate you guys. Let's do the patron thanks. And we do have some wonderful patrons that are joining us. We have Rachel Castle, Janet Flanagan, Kim W., Vicki Emerson, and Vicki Ruda, all as big funders. You guys are awesome. I cannot thank you enough. But I can also not thank our fun supporters and our fun friends very, very much too. Everybody's important in this game. So to keep us on the air free, it just means a ton to us to have support from y'all, because we are community funded. We do not have sponsors, and we do not associate with any stamping companies or anything. They don't pay us. Nor do they even give us any product. I thought maybe they would by now, but no, I haven't gotten diddly. Anyway, that's okay. Tomorrow we will be back with Biddy Penny. She was here tonight. It's fun to get her started, get her back in the mood. And we'll be on the Craft Roulette YouTube channel instead of the Fun University channel. Please make sure you're a part of the lounge, and that is where you put the homework. If you want to try one of these wonderful techniques that we worked on tonight, or last night, or last month, or last week, just put in some homework. There are albums under the media file, and we'll get you started in there so we can see your interpretations, because you got it. It's all up to you now to figure out how to do it. I think that's it. I'm going to go ahead and just make this card, play it out, and then I'll have my desk all ready for tomorrow. Unless I start something else. Thank you guys. Maybe some of you will stick around. And thank you, patrons, for being a part of our world. You really do make a difference. Thank y'all. Night night. I'm back. Okie doke. So, we're just streaming. I think we're not recording, but I think we're still streaming. I don't know. Maybe it turned off. I don't know. I'll pretend it's not turned off. Because I didn't hit outro. Oh, the mysteries of it all. So I'm just going to come in here and add some colors. If you want something that's faster, this is it. This is the ticket. Just do some ink blending and you got something done fast. I'm probably come in with some leaves on that, and that'll be nice. Protect my surface here just a little bit. Not too big a deal. Because I know how to wipe it off. And sometimes I remember to do that before I turn it over. I'm still on. Okay, good, Sharon. That's what I wanted. Excellent. Because I didn't hit the outro button. Yay! Well, this is just I think this will work real well just to let everybody know what the class is, and then we'll move on. Then we'll just hang out. Yes, please, if you like this, hit like. We appreciate that too. Okay, now I'm going to start down here and I'm going to come back and cover that up. I'm not going to go up there when I'm still down here. I think this paper got a little bit of that Avery Elle spray on it too. It's shimmery. I don't think it matters. It does look like it's coming through. It's kind of groovy. But just do think about how this feels so much more playful and relaxed to be. I'm a wonky person, obviously, a very angled person, because I'm playful and relaxed. But instead of a Tetris grid, there are places that a strong horizontal vertical axis grid is important. There it is. One of them would be buildings, bridges, things like that. You don't want them wonky. You want them nice and straight and strong. Reliable. But that's, not so much. You can get a little playful. Okay, so we've got I think I'm gonna go right here with this little green. I don't want to get in trouble. I am being lazy, which probably will mean I'll make a mess. This would be fun too. If you if you did half a card with this, you could get 4 cards out of this, right? If you just did part of it. Maybe you want to make your little grid a little smaller if that were the case. Maybe not. And other things is if you have just a black and white one of these with some gray, black and white stamping on this with some gray, it looks really sharp. But you can't get a blue finger when you do that. One more down here. This is going to be trimmed down here, so I can have a little edge around because this is a full-size card front. But you could put this on a 5x7 too, or on a little chubby. You could trim this down and make it a little chubby. That'd be cool. It would be fun to put into an embossing folder. Yep. I got these blenders on Amazon. Zonazon. Yep. I did. Okay, so if you want faster coverage too, use bigger stamps. That's going to get you there faster too. Like this one. That one I didn't use very big stamps. I'm going to use a bigger stamp on this one so I can get done with it. And let's just stick this on here. Oh, well, you can use little words, numbers. This would be really cute with numbers. Especially like for a little kid turning 5, they would love it. Because 5 is such a big number. Or 10. I don't have any friends turning 10 or 5 though right now. You can see why it would be kind of cumbersome to do a lot of post-it stuff. It's just over. I think it's just overdone. I don't think you can just flip these around so fast, and then if it does get too saturated, you just get a new piece or move it down the road. I want this to be vintage too. I do. So we went to this little town yesterday, and we went to all these little shops, and they had some cute little vintage things. And I think that got me started. You gotta be careful what I look at. You remember that little song in Sunday school? Be careful, little eyes, what you see. You'll be making vintage for months and months. So I might move that down a little bit. But I do love it. A good vintage look. Oopsie. Got yourself in a bind, young lady. These are good to be switching, swatching, and moving every which way. Unlike roads. Oh, I do not like it when they cross you over another road to get you to go straight. Oh, my stars. I don't know what's going on with that. Twist. Twist again. This would be real pretty painted too. I think I've done that. But if you wanted a real elegant look, you could do painting with metallics. If you wanted to do, and then you can do overlays too. You can cut these up. Oh, that's a little tricky. I don't try it yet. You can also look on the websites of companies and see if they have any kind of combinations that tickle your fancy, and then make something like this using the same colors or theme kind of thing. There we go. Okay, we're going to do something that's going to be really fast and easy because I want to keep moving on here. Bringing out my big guns here. My unsharpened pencil. And then I got to find my black pen, there, my black ink. And we're going to do polka dots. Uneven polka dots. This little guy's seen better days, I believe. We'll go for the Dalmatian look here. Want to get some off the edge. Oh, dang, I like this. Don't think we're going to have 101 of them, but that would be a little too much. This pencil's so ancient. So the circles are not circles at all, but I like it. It's charming. Bring that around. Isn't that cute? Look up there. I like it very much. Hi, Marie. How are your knees? You should be feeling quite a bit better by now, I think. Looks like somebody took a chunk out of this this eraser. I can get going pretty fast with this. I don't think I'll get a ticket though. See, this one's fast, so I'm going to do more. I'm going to do the bigger areas with this one. And because I'm not worried, oh my gosh, I love not worrying about stuff. I'm not worried about it being formal. I don't have to worry about it being straight. I like to go a little faster than that and just kind of have fun with it. Okay, this one's pretty good. I think I'm going to come in with one more thing, but it's not going to be very prominent, obviously. So I'm using up a lot of my real estate. You do have to pay attention to see if you have something on the edge, and just be aware where your edges are and what you have, if you've covered them or not. That's okay. You can do that. You're crafters. My goodness, my hand is so decorated tonight. Decorated crafter with hands of ink. Okay, that's looking good. That's looking just fine. That's looking just real fine. Then one more thing. What shall I do? What shall I do? Do I want gold or do I want blue? I think gold. I think gold will do just fine. And I want it fast and furious, so I'm gonna swink. Oh, sure. No, Catherine, they're just makeup brushes. I didn't go for the fancy stuff, but they're very good. I don't know that they're gonna hold up forever, but they weren't expensive. And they get the job done, and I'm happy about that. I don't think I love this one. I think this one is the everything has to have a least favorite. This is my least favorite right here. And I wish I hadn't done this one, but that's okay. My swink chops just aren't real good. And that one's better. I know it works better with cubes. Oh, looky there. That's not good. I have it all over on this side. That's okay, though. Whatever. All right. Because we can, what we can do, I'll put some green in there. We can come in here now. If we don't want it real clean looking, which I like it clean looking right now, but you can bring in some edging and make it look a little more old. And then we can fill in that orange, that gold too, a little bit. You know what else? Doesn't matter if we cross the state lines here either now, does it? You just have to kind of go up the lines. This would be cool with animal pattern too, wouldn't it? See how that, I don't know if you can see that it's pretty subtle, but it does immediately tone it down. And so it's not stark and clean anymore. It's instantly old. I don't want it to go over everything. I'm going to do something else still. Let's just try this. Well, there's no ink. Well, I think we'll go gray instead of black. Maybe it will make it a little softer. This would be really cute in a book too, wouldn't it? A little mini album. It's 4 1/4, so you could make 2. That's just not enough. Okay, you're not enough. 6 too many. 3 not enough. I don't know what to tell you. Black, 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 black. Where are you? Black, 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 black. I know you're near, 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 near. But you, there you are. Would have been a snake. Would have bit me. See how we do here. Light hand is a good hand here. I like it. It's very subtle. But I don't want it to get all dirty. That's one thing about some vintage stuff. It just looks dirty. And I don't mind it looking old. I look old, but I don't want to look dirty and old. Just want to look old. You know what I mean? Just going along here. I don't think I'm going to do the vertical lines. I'm just going to do the horizontal. And I'm going to flip it around and do it the other way. Doesn't matter if I'm right on the line because I did it on both sides. Oh, Grace, how sweet a sound. To stamp with one like me. Then I'm going to go rub over it with some of that brown and cut it into, shall we, maybe one front side and then do the bottom half as twosies. Twosies woosies. I like it. I like it. Isn't that fun? Cherry Blossom was a, what? Oh, you're talking about, okay. Oh boy, I was never a strawberry shortcake person. So you are out of my league with your memories. But isn't that a fun thing to have? This is that light brown. I'm just going to go over everything once. And like I said, this is just going to make it old, not dirty. It's the look I like. If you like old and dirty looking, that's fine too. Go for it. You can add more black, more gray, more tears, more rips, more creases, more crinkles, more inkles. All those things are for you to decide. Okay, I'm going to cut this down just slightly so that it's 4 inches instead of 4 1/4. And then the top one, I'm going to make a 5 1/4. That's going to be my top. Now I have 5 3/4. Well, let's see. 5 1/2 is 5 1/4 is halfway. Or 2 1/4, right? Well, you know what you do, Mary? You just put it on the trimmer and see where you think is about halfway and then cut. Okay, and it's about right there. Next up. So now we have enough for 3 cards. Crafting without numbers. It can be done. Lunch boxes. There's one. Crafting without tears. Not sure what I'm going to do with this one now that I cut it. Silly girl. Okie doke, I might make that. Let's cut a fourth of an inch off of that. You know, if you do cut a fourth of an inch off of something, it works better if you open it. A card base. Don't try to make it all cut at once. It just doesn't work as well. All right, that's going to be okay. I'm not sure what to do with it, but it's going to be okay. And then one more, I believe. You know, the scraps are almost as cute as anything, so that's kind of fun. Doke, this is going to be, I shouldn't have cut that quarter off. Maybe I can find it. A jingo. I did find it. Wonder what that would look like if you pieced it. You could do that too, couldn't you? I'll be doggone if the hits just keep coming. Ideas just keep moving along. I'm going to bring him down to the bottom. And I am going to put that little piece right there. Thanks for sticking with me if you are still here. I'm sorry. I just keep thinking I gotta make this shorter, but what the heck, you know? I gotta do it sometime, so I might as well do it when you're here. If I know what I'm doing. Now, the times that I don't know what I'm doing, you might as well just go to bed. And I might as well go to bed too. This is not so straight. You know, I still need to send Art a birthday card, come to think of it. Shazam. That's going to be cute. And then maybe a little black along there. I think, though, before this guy goes on, I'm going to grab some string. Where's some twine? String. And I think we'll just follow this crazy line right here. And just have it follow that little diagonal. Okay, no. Maybe we can even get it to tie right there on the intersection. Now, wouldn't that be sweet? Sit, stay. Okay, hold my tongue, hold my tongue. There we go. Yeah, that worked. Good night. Just unravel that a little bit. And tie a couple more of those right there on that intersection too, if we want it to be floofier. I'll do that later, but look at there, look how cute that's, oh. Help me now, help me, it's awful cute. Okie doke, little black strip. Hold my back, hold my back. It's not going to be very big. Just a little teeny tiny thing. Just like so. Alright. Mostly on this kind of deal, just make sure you get the ends done. They don't go flapping in the wind. Oh, there goes my alarm. There we go. And then maybe a circle there, an oval would be pretty. an oval with a couple little strawberries at the end and a little bit of a saying I think would work real well. Okay, so there's that one. And then this guy is going to go right in the middle because he's such a good boy. And I'm not going to add, I'm not going to do the spare parts on this one. Whoopsie, come on. You're driving like a crazy person. Straighten up. And then 2 more little strips. Did I cut that with a hoop? Nope, I did not. Okay, so let's line that up and get rid of the wonkies. There we go. Then I will have to dream about that eggplant thing. I think it's a personal thing. I'm just not a big eggplant lover. Could it be? Could it be? Oh, I like this, though. This is just downright good times. I like it. I like it. I like it. It'd be really cute if my card was folded straight. Yeah. There we go. Okay, well, I will. I just wanted to finish that part. Oh, my golly Moses, we got a lot of things going on here. But look at there. That is just, you know, you could put some little dark strips here too if you wanted to make it a little more dramatic. After you get that all done, see, it's much more dramatic with something that little thicker line. I can talk like that now because you know what I'm talking about. This is a very delicate line, so there's nothing tremendously, see, that just takes away from the delicateness of it if you do that. So if you wanted to, I think this is cuter than a stronger line. It's just practicing your faux stitching and doing something along that line. So this one I didn't put the faux stitching in, and I think it's just kind of plain. And so I think I'm gonna have fun finishing these. And I will I had a lot of samples, but I have a lot of cards, like tubs of cards. So anyway, very good. I like these. I don't even know what you could use them for, but they are definitely usable. Yep, I'm thinking like an oval with this guy and some cat whiskers, you know, a whole bunch of little sprayed out things. I don't know about this. It's pretty kind of a pretty little thing too. All right, well, I could say I could go on forever. Pretty little here, pretty little there, and all that kind of stuff. Hi, Sherilyn. Yeah, it was long. I just couldn't quit. It gave the character with a cut. That's cool. Very skewed. That's important. We like to be skewed. All right, well, I'll enjoy looking at all your little notes in here tonight. Thank you for joining me. You guys are all such sweet people. I'm going to hit outro now, and we will see you tomorrow night with Bitty Penny. All right? Okay. Right at you. Did you get it? Rub it in. No, you rub it in here. Rub it in. There you go. Night-night.